my wonderful students from San Jose, California. 10-year-old Matthew, and he's going to win with me the national, and international history B and then history day. Okay. We are training each other. I'm training him. He's training me. So today is a 6/18/2025, 10:45 Houston and 8:45 California. And he's going to read for me. This is an important state in world history right now disappeared, Prussia. This country, even though right now extinct, influenced human history so much and connected with many other countries, including United States. Go, Prussia.
Okay.
Loud and clear. Read loud and clear.
Prussia. Was a German state centered on the North European
plain. Northern European plain.
From 1525 secularization of Prussian, part of the state of the Teutonic Order.
Oh, no, you don't know this one, and you have to know the Teutonic state, Teutonic order. What is that? They are knights. They are Teutonic knights. Look at the flag. You can see the coat of arms. These are Teutonic knights. They are very important in the old Prussia. You just read one paragraph. What the definition of the state of the Teutonic Order? Go.
The state of the Teutonic Order. The state of the Teutonic Order was
a theocratic state. What is theocratic state? The people, the religious people control the country.
Theocratic state located along the southeastern shore of the Baltic Sea in northern Europe. It was formed by the Knights of the Teutonic Order during the early 13th century Northern Crusades.
No, Northern Crusade. What's a Northern Crusade? Many people forget about that. Crusade is many times the European Christians go to the Middle East and kill the Muslim and trying to get Jerusalem. But the Northern Crusade, many people don't know. These people to go to Nordic country to kill the local people to make them into Christian. Now, you read the Northern Crusade or Baltic Crusade.
Northern Crusades or Baltic Crusades were
Christianization campaign.
By Catholic Christian military orders and kingdoms, primarily against the
pagan Baltics.
Finnic and West Slavic peoples around the southern and eastern shores of the Baltic Sea.
So the Slavic people, the Finnish people, they
in the region of Prussia in 1237, the Livonian Brothers of the Sword merged with the Teutonic Order of Prussia and became known as its branch, the Livian Order, while their state, Terra Mannoria, covering present-day Estonia, Latvia, and a small part of Russia, became part of the state
countries of the who right now are independent country. They hate the Russians very much. They trying to join NATO. Estonia, they're very small. Very little people.
Became part of the state Teutonic Order. All its greatest territorial extent during the early 15th century, the state encompassed Chemno land, Courland.
Read the definition.
Chemno land is part of the historical region of Pomerania, located in central northern Poland.
So that's very complicated history. Pomerania and
Courland is one of the historical Latvian lands in western Latvia. Courland's largest city is Lepaja.
Good job. So these are the very complicated European history. Not many people know it, but you will know it. Okay, at least you know what the Teutonic Order is. Go. For centuries.
Okay.
Go.
For
And we learn.
centuries, the House of Hohenzollern ruled Prussia.
Oh, no. Read one definition, and maybe you even have the time in the future to visit them. Go.
The House of Hohenzollern is formally what?
Hohenzollern.
The House of Hohenzollern.
Hohenzollern.
Can you pronounce it better?
Hohenzollern.
Hohenzollern.
It's a German.
Is it a formally royal German dynasty whose members were variously princes, electors, kings, and emperors of Hohenzollern, Brandenburg, Prussia, and the German Empire, and Romania. The German
Romania,
Empire,
even the Romania. So they are a royal family, are related. Go. The family came.
The family came from the area around town of Hechingen in Swabia during the late 11th century and took their name from Hohenzollern Castle.
Say hi. Say hi. Come here to say hi,
Hi.
to my students. This is Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi.
Okay, you guys, everybody say hi to each other, so you guys will learn, study. And of course, he will have to watch our video. He's reading. What book are you reading right now?
Tom Sawyer. Yeah.
Mark Twain, Tom Sawyer, the Adventure of Tom Sawyer, and later on Huckleberry Finn. And you are going to study that book, okay? But he will watch our video on world history. Go ahead, Jerry. Jerry is getting some snacks from my room and water, and I have to open it for him. Okay, now you keep on reading this wonderful information. We studied the history of Prussia. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, so that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. Let's keep on going back to the history of Prussia. So this is very important.
Expanding its size.
Expanding its size with
the Prussian army.
army.
Prussia with its capital at Königsberg.
No. I want you to write it down. And in the future, your parents are going to bring you there. This is a very important city, but this trip, this summer, I don't think you have the time. You visit Berlin is fine enough. Go. And then?
And then when it became the Kingdom of Prussia in 1701, Berlin decisively shaped the history of Germany. Prussia formed the German Empire when it united the German states in 18...
Okay, you need to memorize this date. Okay, 1871, because it's from this very small part of Germany, one of the poorest part of Germany, and their capital of Berlin, and they unified Germany. German reunification. Not reunification. There is twice. German unification is very important. That is in this year. And the German reunification is at the end of the Cold War. De facto, write it down. De facto, Latin language, and you have to read it. De facto, write it down on your notebook. De facto, Latin language, the legal language. Actually, this legal language, and you have to read the whole paragraph. De facto and de jure. De jure is by law. De facto is in fact. In fact. And in law. Now, you write it down, and de facto and de jure, and read it loud and clear for me. I learned these things in law school.
De facto describes practices that exist in reality regardless of whether they are officially recognized by laws or other formal norms. It is commonly used to refer what happens in practice contracts with de jure.
De jure, write it down. De jure, by law, jure, jurisdiction, jurisprudence, judge. This word came from jury, G-U-R-Y, jury, justice. Okay, judge. It's all come from this word. Okay, jurisprudence, the theory, the philosophy of law, jurisprudence came from here. The distinction between the two is significant in law. See, in law, I learned these things in law school. Governments, language, okay, standard. So you are going to study so much wonderful things. This go. De facto dissolved an emergency decree.
De facto dissolved by an emergency decree transferring powers of the Prussian government to German Chancellor Franz von Papen in
And de jure, de jure, de jure.
and the Allied decree in 1947. The
And
name
you will read
Prussia,
one paragraph of de jure, for example, in Chinese, it is
not
called
to be
de jure, de jure. 法律上、名义上或者法理上、法理上、法理上、名义上、法律上、名义上、法理上，它的反义词是 de facto， 事实上。Okay, I occupy this country, that would be de facto, but I legally can own this country is de jure, de jure. Okay, okay, so you are learning so much, not just read one sentence. Go.
De jure is a Latin expression composed of the words from, of, and jure, de, from, of, and jure, law. Adjectival form of just. Thus, this descriptive of a structural argument
That's enough torture. So we are learning the whole thing about Russia, and a lot of people don't know this one. And
Prussia, not Russia.
No, that's
Prussia
not
entered
Russia.
the ranks of the great powers shortly after becoming a kingdom. It became increasingly large and powerful in the 18th and 19th centuries. It had a major voice in the European affairs under the reign of Frederick the Great.
Okay, this guy is very important. Not read the first sentence.
Frederick II was the monarch of Prussia from 1740 until his death in 1786. He was the last Hohenzollern monarch titled king in Prussia, declaring himself king of Prussia after annexing royal Prussia from the Polish.
Wonderful. That's enough. So you need to know this guy, Frederick the Great, is also called what? Frederick the Second. Don't confuse it. Okay. At the Congress of Vienna, and you need to know this thing. Congress of Vienna destroyed who? Napoleon Bonaparte. Because it's in the year 1815 in the Battle of Waterloo. These people put Napoleon in a small little island again, twice. Capture him, make Napoleon Bonaparte surrender, and imprison him till his death. Okay, so Congress of Vienna is very important, 1814 to 1850. Why they doing that? Destroy Napoleon Bonaparte. Go. Rich, redrew the map of Europe.
The map of Europe following Napoleon's defeat. Prussia acquired rich new territories, including the coal-rich Ruhr.
Ruhr is the area, heavy industrialization right down. Okay, read the Ruhr. Ruhr is the area that produce iron. No, coal and iron to make steel to make artillery and a tank. Make sense? So this area is very important for the industrialization of Prussia and then Germany to make World War I, World War II possible. Now read the whole area. Okay. The Ruhr, go.
The Ruhr is also referred to as the Ruhr area. Sometimes the Ruhr district, Ruhr region, or Ruhr valley. The polycentric urban area in northern Rhine-Westphalia, Germany, with a population density of 1,160 per square kilometer.
So this one is a very small area, but is changed. Wow, but there's a lot of people. It is considered part of the large ring Ruhr metropolitan region. So we are learning European what? Not only history, but also geography. Also geography. And what geography is this? Industrial geography. Not only political geography, but industrial geography. See, this is a very small area, but have 10 million people, which is the largest, third largest in Western Europe, beyond only London and Paris. And this part is very important for what? Industrialization. They have a very long history. People, no, you have to read this part. Go. The Industrial Revolution.
The Industrial Revolution. So the development of the region into an urbanized industrial area started in the late 18th century with the early industrialization in the nearly Whopper Valley in Burgess's land. By around 1820, hundreds of water-powered mills were producing textiles, lumber, shingles, and iron in automated processes here.
Wow, look at this one. If you make textile with the clothes, right? You make money, you sell your product to all over the world. Lumber, you can build a building. The German very famous for their housing, right? And export things like what? Cuckoo birds, the clock. Shingles and iron, you use that to make industrialization for railroad, weapon, artillery, stuff like that. They have automated process here. Go, keep on going. In addition to workshop in hills, go.
Okay. In addition to in additional workshop in the hills, highly skilled workers manufactured knives, tools, weapons, and harnesses using water, coal, and charcoal.
See, the very important thing for the Germany is they always have highly skilled workers, and many other countries don't have it. That's why they have a good German cars and weapons. Go, keep on going.
Okay.
As the machine becomes bigger,
as the machines become bigger and bigger, moved from water power to steam power, locally mined coal and charcoal became expensive, and there was not enough of it. The British industry ordered more and more coal from the new coal mining area along the Ruhr. Impressive and expensive railroads were constructed through the hilly Wupper region to bring coal and later steel in from the Ruhr and out for outward transport of the finished products. By 1850, there was almost 300 coal mines.
For what? For industrial complex. They make a monument for to remember they produce coal and iron to fuel the industrialization and militarization. So in 2001, this became a United Nations UNESCO World Heritage Site. Okay. Now, keep on going. This is a very important part of world history. Go.
Oh.
By 1850.
By 1850, there was almost 300 coal mines. There are almost 300 coal mines, and that was coal mines in operation in the rural areas in and around central cities of Duisburg, Essen, Bochum, and Dortmund. The coal was exported or processed in coking ovens into coke.
No. This is not Coca-Cola. Okay, this is not Coca-Cola. You know that?
Used in blast furnaces producing iron and steel, especially pig iron. Wow. In this period of the name Ruhrgebiet became common. Before the coal deposits along the Ruhr were exhausted, the mining industry moved northward to the Munster and finally to the Lippe, drilling even deeper mines as it went. Locks built at Monheim on the Ruhr led to the expansion of the Monheim as a port. With the construction of the Minden Railway in the late 19th century, several ironworks were built within the borders of the present-day city of Oberhausen.
Oberhausen. Okay. One more paragraph and go. Urbanization.
Moreover, the urbanization also boosted the expansion of railroad connections at the beginning of the 1880s. Agricultural regions did not benefit from the newly built transport facilities as much as the non-agricultural regions did. This in turn increased inequality and made anthropometric measurements.
For measurement of human happiness, human individualization, and stuff like that. So that's very important. Let's keep on going. So the coal-rich rural area, the country then grew rapidly. Go.
Including the coal-rich rural, the country then grew rapidly in influence economically and politically, and became the core of the North German Confederation in 1867 and then of the German Empire in 1871. The Kingdom of Prussia was now so large and so dominant in New Germany that Junkers and other Prussian elites,
Junkers,
other
容克贵族 ，no，容克贵族。Even in Chinese，你跟哈老师说要容克，是以普鲁士为代表的德意志东部地区的贵族地主，在德国从封建社会向资本主义社会过渡时期，容克地主阶级长期垄断军政要职 ，so they are military people, they are official people。最著名的 ，we talk about this dude, right? Bismarck，其主导了德意志帝国的建立 ，the German Empire， 被称为铁血宰相，铁血 ，iron and blood and steel chancellor. See Prussia. Okay, so this is a very important part of world history, and you need to know this group. Okay, Prussia, the backbone of Prussia and the backbone of the German army. These are the social class. They are rich, but they are not rich. They are very proud to die for their country. Make sense? These are the people who become the backbone of the German official corps. These people eventually become German officers and control the government. Now, you have to know these people, okay, and study some of their big Hindenburg. Paul von Hindenburg was born into the wealthy Junker family. Hindenburg, you know the Hindenburg disaster, you know that air balloon, you know the things like that's why Hindenburg, very famous, win World War I, many battles for German Empire, and he gave his power eventually to Hitler, Adolf Hitler. So Hindenburg and Bismarck are the representatives, and Bismarck. You talk about the worship, right? Bismarck. We'll talk about that. The thinking of Bismarck. That's why these people are very important. So today, probably the most important thing is we talk about Junger. Go. Was the member of the landed nobility.
Landed nobility in Prussia. They owned great estates that were maintained and worked by peasants with a few rights. These estates often lay in the countryside outside of major cities or towns. They were an important factor in Prussian and after 1871 German military, political,
German military.
and
So without
diplomatic
these Junkers,
leadership.
Good job.
The most famous Junker was Chancellor Otto von Bismarck. Bismarck held power in Germany from 1871 to 1890 as Chancellor of the German Republic. He was removed
No. Chancellor of the German Empire, not Republic.
Empire. He was removed from power by Kaiser Wilhelm II.
This guy is a pretty dumb dude. Okay, he's pretty dumb. His father is a very wise. And he ruined the German Empire. He ruined his father's greatest achievement. Now, so this one would be in your test. He ruined his whole dynasty. Okay. He was the last German emperor because his dynasty died in him because he's insecure. He worked very hard, but he's a dumb kid. He's the dumb kid who ruined his family's fortune. The king of Prussia. And he abdication. What is abdication? He gave up the throne and he ruined the German Empire. Yeah, because he's a very aggressive. He don't have the brain as much as Bismarck. He fired Bismarck. He kicked him out. If he keep on using Bismarck, we may not have World War I or World War II. Make sense? Yeah, so this guy is a dumb guy. So no, he's not dumb guy. He's a smart, but he makes some terrible mistakes, right? Of course he's smarter than me.
He made dumb decisions then.
That's right, dumb decisions. Smart people make dumb decisions. So we learn history, we try to learn from other people's success and also mistakes. So we learn from these wonderful people like Bismarck. They are not only smart, tough, and also most important, very careful. Very, very, very careful when making decision. Now, keep on going. Many Junker live the eastern province of Germany.
Many Junkers lived in the eastern provinces that were annexed by either Poland or the Soviet Union after World War II.
Let me. Their land disappeared. They become Poland, a part of Soviet Union after World War II. When they lose the World War II, they lost their land.
Fled or were expelled alongside other German-speaking populations by the incoming Polish and Soviet administrations, and their lands were confiscated. In western and southern Germany, the land was often owned by small independent farmers or a mixture of small farmers and estate owners. And this system was often contrasted with the dominance of the large estate owners of the East. Before World War II, the dividing line was often drawn at the River Elbe, which was also roughly the western boundary of the Slavic settlement by the ones in the so-called Germania Slavica prior to Austrian.
So this important river is a very important during what? During World War II. A lot of big battles. 易北河，低地德语。
易北河 sounds like eBay.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. Maybe they get that from here. 易北河发源于捷克和波兰交接的苏台德山脉。So that's why World War II happened. 苏台德山脉在南进入捷克，再形成一个弧形流入德国，经Hamburg流入北海，是中欧地区主要航运河道。Okay, so we are going to study these very, 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 very important thing. That is geography, and your wonderful friend from California, Terrence, he's the #1 in the United States in terms of geography B, because he read all these maps. He told me whenever he have a chance, he just go online and read all these maps, all these pictures. That's how he become the #1 in the United States in terms of geography B, but maybe later on, he will also do history and especially world history. Okay, so world history like Hamburg, Berlin, Cologne. You need to know. Wow, that's why this river is so important. Yes or no, right? This river is very important in World War I and World War II and both wars. We talk about Jungers. Jungers lost their land and their country.
That's sad.
That's very sad because they do have a modern influence, even modern time. Wow. Go ahead. The Jungers hold a virtual monopoly. Go.
The Jungers hold a virtual monopoly on agriculture in the part of the German Reich lying east of the river Elbe. Since the Jungers' estates were necessarily inherited by the eldest son alone, younger sons, all well educated with a sense of noble ancestry, turned to civil and military senses and dominated all higher civil offices, as well with the officer corps. Around 19,000, they modernized their farming operations to increase productivity. They sold off less productive land and invested more heavily in the new breeds of cattle and pigs. Used new fertilizers, increased grain production, and improved productivity per worker. Their political influence achieved their imposition of high tariffs that reduced competition from U.S. grain and meat. During World War I, the Irish nationalist MP Tom Kettle compared the Anglo-Irish landlord class to the Prussian Junkers, saying, England goes to fight for liberty in Europe and
So
Junkerdom
this
in
one is very interesting. This sentence is very interesting. I will read it. It was said that if Prussia ruled Germany, the Junkers rule Prussia, and through it, the empire itself. That means Junker ruled Prussia, Prussia ruled Germany, and Germany ruled Europe. Make sense? Make sense? So these Junker aristocrats, they run over Prussia, and then they run over Germany, especially German military. And then through it, they run the German Empire. A policy known as whatever I cannot pronounce. Help for the East granted the Junker this mark in substance to help pay for certain debt and improve equipment. Keep on going. Junker.
Okay.
Wow.
Junkers exploited a monopoly on grain by storing it to drive up the price. As more money was profited, they were able to control political offices. Junkers were able to force people to continue paying more money for their product while keeping who they wanted in office. Through the controlling politics behind the veil, the Junkers were able to influence politicians to create a law that prohibited collecting of debts from heir grains, thus pocketing even more money and strengthening their power.
Okay, that's enough. And now we talk about Jungers are important person, and especially they're conservative. They are anti-communist. These people are the anti-communist and anti-liberal. Okay, supporting who they support? Supporting the king and emperors. Okay, they are very loyal to them. Now keep on reading. Go. Supporting monarchism and the military tradition. Go.
Okay. They support
Junkers was seen as reactionary,
anti-democratic, and protectionist by liberals and socialists. They had sided with the conservative monarchist forces during the Revolution of 1848.
Later on, we're going to study the German Revolution and 1848.
Their political interests were served by the German Conservative Party in the Reichstag.
This one is the German Congress, Parliament. Go.
And the Experimentary Agriculturist League. This political class held tremendous power over industrial classes and government alike, especially through the Prussian three-class franchise, while the German Chancellor Leo von Caprivi in the 1890s reduced the protective duties on imports of grain. These landed magnates demanded and obtained his dismissal in 1902.
If they don't like some chancellor's policy, they kick the chancellor out. So these Junkers kick him out. Go.
They brought about a restoration of such duties on foodstuffs as it would keep the prices of their own products as high level. Juncker acquired his current and an offer
Projector mean curse word.
projector
Curse word size.
since during the 19th century, the disputes over the domestic policies of the German Empire. The term was used by socialists such as Max Weber
No,
and
sociologist,
even adopted by members of the
No. Write it
landed
down. This guy's name. You have to
themselves.
write down this guy's name, Max Weber, because this morning I was teaching my students in Florida to do John Locke ethic competition on who is more powerful. We are analyzing who is more powerful, Donald Trump or Elon Musk. Whose theory we are using? This dude, Weber. Okay, we're using his theory. Go.
Okay. When using used by socialists such as Max Weber, and it was even adopted by members of the landed class themselves. The Chancellor Otto von Bismarck was a noted Junker, though his family hailed from the Altmark region west of the Elbe. After World War I, many Prussian agriculturists gathered in the National Conservative German National People's Party, DNVP. The term was also applied to reach Presidents Paul von Hindenburg,
This dude.
Lord of Neudick,
Oh, wow.
in West Prussia and Camarilla around him, urging the appointment of Adolf Hitler as Chancellor of Germany, personified by men like Hindenburg's son Oskar and his West Prussian neighbor Ellard von Oden Jascha, who played a vital role in the Auschwitz scandal of 1930 to 1940.
Wow, these are the famous people, and we are going to study them tomorrow. These are the famous people, and that is very influential for good and for bad. Influential. Let me send this one to you and your parents, and you will educate them, and they will pay you. I mean, when you guys visit Europe, it's your parents' responsibility. See, Harker Classical. This your brother and the other kids from your classmates upper school are going to study with me. See how many study group we have. I have to fund you, your parents, which is difficult job. Too many group. Wow. Okay. That's right. So I think that's enough torture for today. Let's stop recording because I'm going to use this video from YouTube to learn Frederick the Great and the rise of Prussia. We keep on study this one. Okay, so I'm stop recording. Oh, no. We can watch this.
Swedish invasion, and by 1660 the war was over and Prussia was a sovereign duchy. Brandenburg was still under the overlordship of the Holy Roman Empire though, but it was progress at least. The standing army that Fritz
Summarize for me in 3 minutes.
William had built continued to grow, and by the 1670s it stood at almost 40,000 men. Brandenburg Prussia was still in financial trouble though, but Frederick William's efforts at encouraging...
You pause the screen share.
In 1682, he granted a charter to the Brandenburg African Company, who set up trading posts and African holdings with which to sell slaves to North America. It was in 1688 that the great Elector's successful reign came to an end due to a small case of death. He was succeeded by his son, Frederick, who, much like his father, had lofty ambitions. These were overridden by the need to defend that which his father had achieved, since both Sweden and Poland-Lithuania wouldn't hesitate to undo any of it. He thus made an alliance with the Habsburgs in order to safeguard his realm against them, whilst also providing well-trained troops at the 9 Years' War against France's Louis XIV.
Louis XIV, and then Prussia at that time are very important, so they are traditional enemy with France.
Grandson, crowned King of Spain in 1700, the Habsburgs knew that there would be war, which they would want Brandenburg Prussian troops for. But in return for his support, Frederick wanted only one thing. He wanted a crown. Frederick was going to crown himself irrespective of what anyone else wanted. However, since the Habsburgs now needed his professional soldiers, he could get some outside recognition. In 1701, he had himself crowned as the Prussian king, although be aware that he wasn't the king of Prussia, he was the king in Prussia. This
that's very important distinction.
was so that his lands in the Holy Roman Empire wouldn't have a king other than the King of the Romans, which was one of the titles of the Holy Roman Emperor. It was also because this territory in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was also known as Prussia, and they wanted to be sure that there wasn't any confusion. So, as the king in Prussia, Frederick, now Frederick I, gained a massive amount of prestige, and his coronation marks the beginning of Prussia's rise. Not in geopolitical terms, that is, that was before this, but in historical terms, since the emphasis in Brandenburg, Prussia was now on Prussia.
Say it. Brandenburg, Prussia.
Brandenburg,
Prussia.
Frederick's reign saw him create...
Oh, you paused screen share.
What?
Yeah, you paused screen share.
Oh, I paused screen share, did I?
Yeah.
So dumb. How dare I do that? That's pretty dumb.
Of Prussia and was fairly uneventful
Oh,
until
I
his death.
should pause what? I should pause the recording of the video. I got it wrong.